Hello, good evening, everyone. Vanisha, Ritika, and Lavika. Hope all of you are doing fine. And please confirm if I'm audible to everyone.
Good evening, sir.
All right. Okay, so Ritika, Lavika, and Vanisha, we were done with the chapter that we were discussing in the previous session. That was rectification of error. And in today's session, we'll be starting a new chapter. This is basis of accounting. This is more of a, this is a theoretical chapter. We won't be discussing any numerical of this chapter. This is a complete theory chapter. You will have to make a lot of notes while discussing this chapter, while covering this chapter. All right. So apart from this, we have one more chapter, provision and reserve, that will start probably in the next class. Hopefully, we'll be able to cover this chapter in today's session itself because it is a small chapter. We don't have to discuss a lot of things, but yeah, you will have to write down a lot of things. Okay, so just give me a second. All right, everyone. So let's start. Let's first of all talk about the meaning of the. What are the various bases of accounting? All right. Every one of us know that the main purpose of accounting is what? Main purpose of accounting is to determine the profit or loss, profits earned or losses incurred by the business during the one accounting period, right? Main purpose of any business is what? Sorry. Main purpose of accounting is what? Main purpose of accounting is to determine the profit of the business earned throughout the year or to determine how much loss has been incurred during the period of 1 year. And for that purpose, for the determination of profit or loss, usually there are two bases upon which accounting is done. One is the cash basis accounting, and then there is accrual basis accounting. Well, we'll talk about both the type of accounting one by one. First of all, please note this down. Everybody is able to see this keyboard basis of accounting.
Yes,
Yes or
sir.
no? All of you are making notes? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So
So see,
can
is it clear to you?
yes, sir.
So it says basic purpose of accounting. Basic purpose of accounting is to determine the profit of a business or loss incurred by a business during the period of money. And in order to determine the profit and loss, we have how many bases of accounting? There are two bases by which, following which profit and loss of a business can be determined, which are the cash basis or the accrual basis accounting. Now we'll talk about these two bases of accounting one by one. Talking first about the cash basis accounting. Cash basis accounting is what? It is a basically system of accounting, you can say, wherein the transactions of a business are recorded only when cash is received or paid. All right. Whenever a transaction is conducted, and after doing the transaction, if there is cash inflow or the outflow, then only transaction will be recorded in the books of account. So cash basis accounting, the system of the cash basis accounting is very simple. It focuses upon the inflow and outflow of cash. When the payment will be made, accounting treatment will be done. When the payment will be received, then we will be recording the transaction. So as and when cash is being received or paid, only then transaction will enter the books of account. All right, and under the system, entry is not recorded just when a payment or receipt is merely due. I mean, like for example, let's suppose XYZ Limited is a company and it employs a person. There is an employee working for XYZ Limited. Name, let's suppose name is Mr. X. All right. And XYZ Limited have to pay salary to Mr. X. Mr. X salary gets due on 31st of every month. 31st of every month. You understand that? Salary of Mr. X gets due on 31st of every month. But company makes the payment to Mr. X only on the 8th of the next month. 8th of next month. So this is the date of payment. Payment will be made on the 8th of the next month. Like if you talk about the month of January, salary will get due on 31st of January, but the payment will be made on 8th of February. All right. Now you tell me, XYZ is going to make the payment not on due date, right? When the salary is actually due for Mr. X. But XYZ will be making payment on the 8th of the next month. So you tell me when this transaction will be recorded in the books of account, whether the company should record the transaction right on the due date as on the 31st of January, or company will wait till 8th of Jan, and when the payment will be made, only then the transaction will be recorded. You tell me, if the accounting is done by following the cash basis accounting, if business is following the cash basis accounting, Ritika and Manisha, you have to tell me on which date company will be recording the transaction.
So on payment date.
Ritika is saying on 31st. Ritika, are you saying on 31st?
So in cash basis?
Yeah, I'm asking about the cash basis transaction, cash basis accounting.
So 31st.
But on 31st, we are not making payment now. Only the salary is due. No payment is being made. Payment is being made on which date? On 8th of February. 8th of the next month. So the transaction will be recorded only on 8th of next month. Ritika and Labiba Vanisha, please confirm if this is clear or not.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Yeah. So this is what we do in the cash basis accounting. Listen to me very carefully. I'm repeating it again. Under cash basis accounting, transactions are recorded only when there is inflow or outflow of cash, not before that. Transaction will only enter the books of account when actually the payment will receive or the payment will be made. All right. Under the cash basis accounting, no transaction are recorded on due basis. All right. Is that clear? So talking about the revenue, if we have generated some revenue, revenue will be recognized only at the time when cash is received. Like for example, if let's take an example that I'm selling goods to Manisha. I'm selling the goods on 17th of January to Manisha, but Manisha is saying that sir, I'll just allow me a credit period of 1 week. Allow me a credit period of 1 week. That means she's asking, she will be paying the amount of the goods that she is purchasing after 1 week. I said, okay, pay me after 1 week. So today is 17, the payment will be received on, let's suppose, 23rd of January. All right. So even though I have sold the goods to Vanisha, even though, let's take for example, I have sold goods to Vanisha for costing rupees 5,000. Value of sale is 5,000. Even though there is a revenue of 5,000, but I'm not going to record that in the books of account unless and until Vanisha actually pays the amount. All right, this is what happens under the cash basis accounting. We will record the transaction only when the payment is actually received from Vanisha, not on the date of sale. So revenue, sale is what? Sorry, sale is what? Sale is the revenue, right? So revenue will only be recognized on the date of the receipt of amount, not before that. Even though I have sold goods on 17th of January, but I'm not going to recognize 5,000 as my revenue until Manisha actually pays the amount on 23rd of January. I hope this is clear, everybody. Ritika, Labiba, and Manisha.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and same goes with the expense. Expense will only be recorded on the date of payment. Revenue is recognized on the date of on when the cash is received, and expense will be recognized only when the actual payment is made. All right. And you know how do we determine the profit under the cash basis accounting? We just differentiate the total revenue, whatever the total amount that we have received, minus the whatever the total payments that we have made. So actual receiving of the amount and actual payment of the cash, both will be subtracted, and the remainder that we get, that will be considered as the profit or loss. If we get the negative balance, that will be considered as a loss. If we get the positive balance, that will be a profit. Like for example, total receipts of the year is 6 lakhs, and payments total payments are of 5 lakh. That means there is a profit of 1 lakh. But vice versa, let's suppose there is a payment of 7 and receipt is 6 or like 5 lakh. That means there is a loss of 2 lakh. So under the cash basis accounting, profit or loss will be calculated depending upon the amount that we have received or the amount that we have actually paid. I hope this is clear, everybody. All right.
Yes.
So if you understood it well, then it must be clear to you that under the cash basis accounting, we usually do not uh, treat any expense as the outstanding expense. There is no concept of outstanding expense under the cash basis accounting. There is no concept of prepaid expense. There is no concept of accrual income, income received in advance are not considered. These kind of item are not considered under the cash basis account. Let me repeat. items such as outstanding expenses, prepaid expenses, accrued income, income received on advance basis. These are of no relevance while following the cash basis account. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay then. So let's do one thing. Please write down the definition of the cash basis accounting. Cash basis accounting is a system in which transactions are recorded when cash is received or paid. Under this system, entry is not recorded when payment or receipt are merely due, right? And revenue is recognized only at the time when cash is received and not at the time of sale or change of ownership of goods. And on the other hand, expenses will also be recognized only at the time of actual payment. And how do we determine the profit in it? Under the cash basis accounting, profit is calculated as a difference between the total revenue, that is total receipt, and total payments. Okay, and these items are not considered by following the cash basis accounting. There is no concept relating to outstanding expense, prepaid expense, accrued income, income received in advance. These are of no relevance by following the cash basis account. I hope this is clear. Please note this down. As soon as you are done, just let me know so that I can move to the next slide and you can also note that down.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, start writing it.
Done, sir.
Please note next slide. Nisha, Kritika, Labika, Jana.
Yes, sir.
Everybody done with the previous slide, na? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just let me know when you are done with this one as well, so that I can move to the next slide. See, the entire chapter is completely theory-based chapter. You will have to basically learn a lot of things in this. And in exam, the question that is usually put up from the chapter is to differentiate the cash basis and accrual basis account. So for answering that, you will have to have a good idea about both the bases of accounting. Only then you will be able to differentiate in exam. Please note this down. Let me know once you are done.
Done, sir.
Done, everyone? All of you, Vanisha, Ritika, Labiba, Zainab,
So
please confirm. All right, finish it quickly.
done, sir.
All right, everybody. I hope Labiba and Zainab is also done.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's also discuss one or two advantages of cash basis accounting and the disadvantage. talking about the advantage, we can say that since all the transaction needed to be recorded only when the payment is actually being made or the amount is actually being received. So that kind of accounting is considered a simpler accounting method, wherein a transaction is only be recorded transaction only be recorded on the basis of the amount is actually received or the payment is made. So first of all, it is a simple basis of account, simple method of account. All right. Then this kind of accounting is only suitable for those kind of enterprise which where most of the transaction took place on cash basis. We can say that, right? What I'm telling you, talking about the merits of the system, this accounting method. One of the merit is that this is comparatively simpler method to follow. This is a simple method of accounting. Number one. Second, this seems very useful when a particular organization is recording the transaction on cash basis. So those entities uh, which wherein most of the transaction took place on cash basis, enterprise where most transaction are on cash. For that kind of organization, cash basis accounting is suitable. All right. Then if you talk about the demerit or the disadvantage of cash basis accounting, so the first demerit of this is that it does not follow the matching principle of accounting. There is one very important accounting principle which is called the matching principle. So under cash basis accounting, we just avoid that matching principle. All right. So what is actually matching principle? Matching principle says that transaction relating to one particular year should be recorded in that particular year's account. For example, if a particular transaction has been conducted in the year 2015-16, transaction took place here, but the payment for the same received here in the next year 2016-17. So the problem with the cash basis accounting is that even though transaction is being conducted here, but the treatment of this will be done only in the year 2016-17. So there is a difference of on basically the transaction when the transaction took place and when the payment is getting received. So there is a violation of the principle called matching principle of accounting. So this is one of the very big disadvantage of cash basis accounting. Other thing is that it does not give a true and fair view of the profit and loss and the financial position of an organization. It ignores because it ignores so many expenses. Like it just does not consider outstanding expenses, prepaid expenses, like accrued income and income receivable in advance. These items are not at all considered by doing the accounting based on cash basis accounting. So because these items are not given any consideration while doing the accounting, so the financial statement or the profit and loss that we will calculate, that profit and loss does not guarantee that it gives a true and fair view of the business of the business basically. All right, so there are two merits. Number one, it is suitable for smaller organization wherein most of the transaction took place on cash basis. And other thing is that it is simple method to be followed. Disadvantage is that it does not follow the matching principle and it also does not give a very true and fair view of the profit and loss or the financial position of the organization. All right. And one more demerit, the system also does not distinguishes between the capital and revenue items. And as a result, there is no consistency in the profit of the 2 year. All right. Anyways, just leave this point. You can just write down two disadvantages and two merits of the cash basis accounting. And then we'll move to the accrual basis accounting. Just a second. So these are two merits. It is simple and it is suitable for the small enterprise. Please note this down quickly. And if you are unable to understand anything, do let me. Everything clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Done, sir. sir.
So can you show the previous slide again?
Do it quickly.
Done, sir.
Done, everyone else. Okay, everyone. So now let's talk about the accrual basis accounting. Once you understood the cash basis accounting, accrual is just the opposite of that. Accrual basis accounting is what? Under accrual basis accounting, revenue is recognized just like under the cash basis accounting. Revenue used to be recognized only when we receive the amount, and expenses will only be taken into consideration when actually the payment will be made. But under the accrual basis accounting, revenue is recognized when sale actually took place, or the ownership of good or the services have changed. Whether the payment of such sale or the sale is received or not, that does not matter. Just when the sale took place or revenue is generated, we will be recording the transaction. So that is called transaction will be recorded on accrual basis. Like the example that we took earlier, wherein I told you that XYZ Limited have employed in this example, XYZ Limited employing Mr. X, and the salary of Mr. X get due on 31st of every month, but the payment is actually made on the 8th of next month. So if we consider this example, and if we talk about that XYZ Limited is following the accrual basis accounting, so in this situation, this time the transaction will only be recorded on 31st of the month only. We won't wait till the 8th of the next month, because we know that expenses are already generated, expenses already accrued or due. So we'll have to make the payment eventually. So as soon as the expense is due, we will record the amount in the books of account instead of waiting till the date of payment. So this is how accrual basis accounting works. Instead of waiting till the payment received or till the payment is being made, we'll just pass the entry as soon as the revenue is actually accrued or the payment is actually due. All right. So the meaning of accrual basis can be written as under accrual basis of accounting, revenue is recognized when the sale, take place, or ownership of goods and services changes, whether the payment for such sale is recognized or not, is not at all relevant. Under accrual basis of accounting, under accrual basis, accounting is based on realization and matching principle. Just like under the cash basis accounting, there is a violation of matching principle, but under accrual basis, we follow the matching principle. Next, all those expenses which were not recognized under the cash basis accounting, we recognize all those things under the accrual basis accounting. So when cash basis accounting is followed, these expenses are not taken into consideration. But now under the accrual basis accounting, we consider all these expenses. All right. If we talk about the advantage, first advantage, it shows complete picture of financial transaction, unlike the cash basis accounting. And this basis of accounting discloses correct profit or loss for a particular period. Talking about the disadvantage, it could be this is comparatively difficult to maintain as compared to cash book, because cash basis accounting. Why? Because under cash basis accounting, we just do not follow various principle and rules of accounting, but under the accrual basis accounting, so many rules and principle has to be followed. So it becomes sometimes it gets complicated. It is comparatively difficult. Accounting process under accrual basis accounting is too lengthy, obviously. and quick appraisal of the profit and loss is not possible. Like if you want to determine the profit and loss quickly, that cannot be done under accrual basis, which can be possible under the cash basis accounting. All right. So in order to find out the profit and loss under the accrual basis accounting, we have to do various adjustments, and only then we will be able to reach or determine the correct profit and loss of the organization. Okay, so these are the various advantage and disadvantage. Now the important thing is the difference between accrual and account cash basis account. So there are various differences. We'll talk about it. Just quickly note this down. All right, and we'll cover the last topic of this chapter, which is the difference between cash and accrual basis accounting. Can you note this down quickly? And if anybody has
Sure.
not understood anything, let me know.
Done, sir.
So can you show the previous slide?
Done.
Yes, sir.
Done, sir.
Done, sir.
Just a second.
Done, sir. Done, sir.
Done, sir.
All right, everyone. So we understood the concept of cash basis and accrual basis accounting. Now I think we can easily differentiate between cash and accrual basis accounting. So starting with the first of all, if we differentiate on the basis of recording a transaction, how transactions are recorded under the accrual basis accounting. We know that under accrual basis accounting, transactions are recorded. Both cash and credit transactions are recorded here, right? As soon as the transaction is accrued, we record the transaction. So, but in case of the cash basis accounting, only cash related transactions are taken into consideration, not credit transactions. Then what about the prepaid outstanding expenses or income that is received on advance or accrued income are taken into consideration or not? Answer is yes. If we prepare accounting on accrual basis, we will take all these expenses and incomes into consideration. Whereas in case of the cash basis accounting, these are not taken into consideration. Then we have talking about the profit or loss. So in case of the accrual basis accounting, the chances of getting the right profit or loss is high. On the other hand, probability under the cash basis accounting to get the correct profit or loss is low comparatively. Then what about the legal position? So let's see, as far as the companies at 2013 suggest, it suggests us to prepare the accounting based on accrual basis. So if we talk about the legal consequences or legal from the legal aspect, if we try to differentiate, so companies Act 2013 it specifically says that businesses should prepare the books of account on accrual basis, whereas uh, the in respect of cash basis accounting, uh, cash basis accounting is not suggested by the companies that or not uh, recognized by, you can say, by the companies at 2013. So companies at 2013 only recognizes accrual basis accounting. So from the viewpoint of companies that there is no cash basis accounting. Acceptability, see, accrual basis accounting is generally more acceptable across the world. So whenever the accounting is done, mostly accounting is done on accrual basis, but cash basis accounting is not very largely accepted. So only those institutions or enterprises that are of a small nature that are operating at a smaller level usually follow cash basis accounting. So this is not a generally accepted method of accounting. All right. Then suitability. If we talk about the suitability, this is a accounting method which applies or it is suitable for every kind of organization, whether it is small or large, irrespective of the size and nature of the business. Accrual basis accounting is useful and suitable for every kind of business. On the other hand, cash basis accounting is not suitable for large organization. It is suitable only for the smaller firms or businesses. All right. So these are the six differences between the accrual and cash basis accounting. So students, I want all of you to take the screenshot of the difference and later note this down in your notebook after the session. Okay. So this is all about the basis of accounting. All right. And I'm sure everybody understood the concept of this chapter. We'll be starting a new chapter in the next session. So this is it for today's session. And with the screenshot, everybody, Ritika, Labiba,
So what
and
about
everybody.
the numericals in this chapter?
Okay, so yeah, there are few numericals which is usually easy. If you want me to cover those numerical, we can do that as well. You want me to cover the numericals of the chapter as well?
Yes, sir.
All right, then. So we'll do a few questions based on the accrual and cash basis accounting in the next section. Okay. Questions are usually easy. If you'll try, you can do that on your own as well. And most of the time, questions from this chapter are usually query based questions. But anyways, we'll cover a few questions for you. And if time allows, we'll start a new chapter in the next section. Okay. All right, then. So this is it for today's session. Thank you, everybody. Ganesha, Latika, Latika, and Zana. Goodbye. Take care.
So,
Yes, Manish.
so one more thing, so from the GST chapter, the GST set off is also left, so can you teach that also?
DST. It is
Yes, sir.
from the accounting only.
Yeah, accounting of goods and service tax from that chapter, the GST
Yeah,
set
yeah,
off, the
yeah.
last part.
Actually, I don't have the new edition of the book, but yeah, I'll try to cover that as well. I'll arrange the new edition of this book, and I'll cover that as well. for you.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. So because we are having that
Uh,
for the exams, that's.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll surely cover that. Thank you, Manish.
Okay,
Goodbye.
sir. Thank you, sir.